Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today, I'm jumping in because I got word that there was a Famitsu interview where they officially revealed that young Angel is going to be a character in Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, along with dropping a new code for 30 Stamina Tonics, and also some other information, including other illustrations for the potential Bahamut costumes. So that being said, I'm going to take a look at this interview. It is a little bit long, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I am going to touch on all the things that at least I feel are interesting. All right, so here it is. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis first anniversary interview. Upcoming stories about young Sephiroth, Angeal, the story of Masamune, as well as potential new collaborations with the numbered Final Fantasy series. First reveal of new Bahamut themed outfit designs. All right, so sounds pretty freaking awesome to me. Okay, so it looks like the interview right here, and don't worry, I will show you guys here at the end of this article. We will include a gift code that you can fill out in the form on the official Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis website to receive 30 stamina items in the game. So don't miss it. If you guys are looking for that link, you just come into our Discord right here. If you go to announcements and you scroll up, you will find this link right here, gift code. So just go into that, input the code, and you can get your 30 stamina tonics. All right, so let's go down. So it does look like this is going to be Ichikawa, Nomura, and Toriyama all talking about this right here. All right, so let's see. First of all, please tell, I'm just going to read the first one right here and see how it is. First of all, please tell us your honest thoughts on the first anniversary of the service's launch. Ichikawa, looking back, it feels like it went by in a flash, and that's my honest impression. When I think back, a lot of things happened, and every month I was thinking of events and collaborations to give everyone something to enjoy, so it was a very intense year. It felt like I was sprinting a marathon. I know how that feels, but I was encouraged by the feedback from our many users so many times that it felt like a marathon with lots of water points. All right, I want to keep running from now on. Nomura, even though it's been a year, we feel like we've been doing it for much longer. Yeah, I bet. It's a big project. If you include the development period from Toriyama, you've been involved with this game for quite a long time. Even after the service started, we recently added a new guild battle, but new features require a certain amount of preparation time. For example, when creating new 3D graphic resources, preparations start about a year and a half in advance. Wow, that's a pretty far amount of time. Toriyama, we prepare plots for events and stories about a year in advance, and we start working on feature improvements 6 months in advance. In addition to that, we do playtests for the latest measures, and of course, since the release of the product version, we have been playing with the general public every day. Right now, we're also working on the final part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake Project Trilogy, so sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. When people ask me about the Highwind, I say which one. Fair enough, because I know that he's having some trouble making it so that the Highwind can be flown all around the world, particularly landing it, I think was one of the hard parts that he said was hard to code. All right, so they talk a little bit about here, and I'll have this link in the description for you guys to check out if you guys want to fully read through everything. But here they talk a little bit about the Monster Hunter collaboration, how they were working with Capcom, and how Capcom had, different or like certain restrictions in which they had to abide by in order to put, Cloud in the game, right? Which must have been interesting for them to work with. He does say that he had trouble finding the right balance for Tifa's Kirin gear. As you can see, he says that the Kirin gear in Monster Hunter is fluffy with fur, has a voluminous design towards the toes. He said it was difficult to balance that design with Tifa's silhouette in Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, because it doesn't quite accentuate her silhouette, right? All right, so apart from collaborations, are there any events that left a strong impression on you? He really liked the Valentine's Day event. This one was with Yuffie. That one was pretty fun. They talk about this wallpaper getting a lot of love from fans in the game, and I think this is a great one right here, so that is cool. It does look like the difficulty of story battles will continue to be eased up on. The shortage of weapon materials and stamina items will be improved. All right, so we're going to be getting more weapon mats and more stamina tonics. Honestly, I just hope that they just break the limit of 99 stamina tonics to 999. I'm tired of having to micromanage my gift box, not going to lie. All right, so they do want the story content in the games to be as easily clearable by new players as possible, right? So they did mention something where they want you to be able to clear it with just event weapons. It does look like in the content called Singular Tower or Singularity Tower that will start on September 7th, it will be easy at first and you'll be able to climb it. True, I'm on 54 and I've autoed every stage. But at the end, we'll prepare opponents that even the development team will have a hard time with, so we have created a proper gradation of difficulty. We also want to prepare solid end content. Now, I read somewhere that this same person, Ichikawa, said that they couldn't beat the Crash Sephiroth when it came out. Assuming they have basically everything in the game on their accounts, I mean, maybe it's not such a crazy thing that their development team had trouble with it if they couldn't beat the Crash Sephiroth. So who knows how hard it's actually going to be, right? All right, so in story battles, the recommended blah 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 blah. We're going to skip that. Weapon materials are appreciated. Yeah, we all run out of Stamina Tonics, right? All right, so let's see. Regarding stamina from Ichikawa. When you improve your stamina, you run out of gil. Okay. And when you get rid of gil, you get stamina. Can someone explain to me how gil gets you stamina? When can we buy stamina with gil? That is not a thing. I'm pretty sure that's not a thing. That's not a thing. I think it's crystals get you stamina at a horrendous rate. All right. We want to respond to the voices of those who say that there aren't enough stamina potions at the moment, and we are constantly thinking of new ways to make the game easier to play, such as increasing the opportunities to obtain stamina potions throughout various campaigns. As for weapons, we already know this. They're giving out 2 5-star weapons for each of the characters, totaling 26. The character level cap is currently at 80, and there are currently no character streams beyond that level, but are there any plans to raise the character level further in the future? That's got to be a rhetorical question. If we raise the level cap too quickly, the gap with new players will become larger. So we are basically going to raise it as necessary while looking at the overall balance of forces and the difficulty of the quests. That's interesting that that is their kind of perk that they're going off of, because I feel like the gap between free-to-play and whales is just like if I took an arrow and just like fired it like 400 yards in the sky, that would be like the whales soaring away. And then all the other mortals are like the grass from which you fired it, right? So that's a pretty big gap. I don't know if the level cap is really, as big of a thing as the actual difference in weapon and strength cap. All right, so if we do raise the cap, we are thinking of implementing a set of easy-to-learn quests and training events such as the Golden Bomb Rush. So we will make a separate announcement at that time. Maybe they're saying that the more you raise the level cap, the harder it is for a character to actually get up to that level unless there is a Golden Bomb Rush. So maybe they are thinking about adding a permanent Bomb Rush, which would be great. Obviously, they're going to have to increase the natural way in which we level. Okay, so let's get to the good stuff. The next stage after the first soldier arc is Wutai. Angeal is now playable officially right here, and Masamune's secret will also be revealed. All right, so there's some interesting stuff here, right? So for me, it would be, so what is the most memorable thing for you, Mr. Nomura? For me, it would be the appearance of young Sephiroth, as he is a symbolic character for this title, right? Glenn appeared in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but he was also quite different. Will the circumstances that led to Glenn becoming like that be depicted in the future? All right, that's a good question. It may be depicted somewhere, but that's a little further down the line. The mission of Glenn and the other 3 in young Sephiroth in the first soldier arc ended with a sad outcome in many ways. Please tell us as much as you can about future developments. The story we're going to depict is set in a timeline that's been around for less than a year since young Sephiroth finished his mission with Glenn and the others. So there's a 1-year time gap between the last story part of First Soldier that we got and the next part coming out. The spotlight will still be on young Sephiroth, who will visit a certain area in the Wutai area where Angeal will join him as a colleague. That's going to be the next part of the story that we get. The story will depict Sephiroth and Angeal as well as other characters, and will also depict Sephiroth's further growth. All right, here we go. The question that a lot of you guys and myself have been wondering. Sephiroth and Angeal, ... Will Genesis also be involved? Nomura, that's a secret. All right, so I think that's pretty much a given that Genesis will get dropped at one point in time. I mean, why wouldn't they? It's Genesis. He's an absolute badass, and I'd be absolutely psyched to level up and play Genesis. All right, I think the inner workings of the young Sephiroth will continue to be of the points of interest in the story, and I think the relationship between Sephiroth and Angeal will also be a highlight, and of course, Angeal will be playable. Hell yes. As for Masamune, I was actually consulted about how to handle him in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It would be unnatural to have him in the open all the time while moving around the field. I think they're talking about while having Masamune all the time in his hand. And he couldn't carry it on his back like Cloud, unless he would be pinning himself to the dirt like a scarecrow. So we were like, what should we do? I see. I remember that at the beginning of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, when he went on a mission with Sephiroth, he didn't have Masamune outside of battle, which means he can poof it, right? That's right. At that time, I told the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth team members Masamune actually has a secret, and that mystery will be revealed in Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. So I want you to proceed in that form without Masamune in the field. So Sephiroth, from what I'm gathering, has some way to materialize Masamune from nothing into his hand, right? Toriyama, I also plan to draw a reason for the depiction of Masamune disappearing when moving on the field but appearing in battle. Furthermore, there is also an episode about how Masamune was created and why Sephiroth ended up obtaining it. And here is a huge question for everyone. By the way, will the adult Sephiroth be a playable character? Ichikawa, I'm thinking about it someday, but since the story of young Sephiroth still continues, I think it will be a while before that happens. Obviously, they're saving it for a rainy day. Same with Advent Children. Anytime they drop adult Sephiroth as a playable character or Advent Children, everyone is going to surge to the game, so it will come at some point. The AI has been improved and limit breaks can now be activated automatically, making the game even easier to play. Okay. What have been the most common requests from users over the past year? There were a lot of requests about team formation. We want to save story parties. Yes, we want to save story parties. Improve the optimality of recommended team formations and so on. We plan to improve these aspects with future updates, including the September 7th update. During auto battle, there are noticeable scenes where HP recovery doesn't happen when you want it to, but what about the AI during battle? Okay. We plan to make improvements to that as well. For example, when you were poisoned, Bioasuna was generally prioritized, but when HP was low, we will make improvements such as prioritizing the use of Cure, making it easier to play even on auto. After speaking of auto-related things, limit breaks, which could only be done manually, these will now be available on auto depending on the settings, so I think it'll be easier to play the game. All right. I think the impression changes quite a bit when it comes to the recommended formation and the auto AI of the battle. Since the recommended formation also includes outfits and weapons that were not selected before, the strategy has expanded and the visual enjoyment of the auto battle has increased. All right, we all know about getting the free costume right here. I think Nomura talks about how he would choose Red 13, like right here. So all you guys out there that said maybe Red 13, I think you guys were intuitively onto something here, because read this. As a recent direction of balance adjustment, we have been adjusting the character's characteristics in battle, or what we call roles. To be more clear, and Red 13 is also getting more opportunities to play an active role as a debuffer. So my worry with Red's costume was that, what if he gets a buff and then, then we want a buff debuff duration on him, right? But it looks like Red 13 is going to be focused more as a debuffer from this point in time. So for all of you guys that said the Canyon Duts for Red, that is now officially a great choice. For now, I only have the Hellhound costume. How do these guys not have everything in the game? I just can't believe that they don't. All right. Ichikawa said, for me, it's Barrett's Electro Armor. I mean, come on. Barrett's Electro Armor is like the hardest piece of gear to power creep ever. I mean, Red's is great, right? But it's super easy to power creep it, and they will, right? But Barrett's, what are you going to give them that's better than that? It's going to be a while, I think. All right. All right. Here we go. So they did reveal different outfits, because they obviously have multiple different designs for these characters when they go to the concept artists, right? It's the same thing for me when I work with concept artists. We get different designs. All right, and I'm going to go down and show you guys some of them right here. All right. There we go. Okay, so here we can see Cloud's and Tifa's. You can't really open them very well, which is a bit of a bummer, but they look pretty sick. Let's try to save it. All right, so we'll go to desktop, save it, and now let's open it. How are we gonna do that? Let's try to open it really quick. Should be right here. All right. All right, there we go. Okay, so here we have multiple versions of Cloud's costume, guys. Honestly, looks pretty sick. I feel like a lot of these would have looked better. I really like 3. I really like 4. 5 is pretty sick. 5 is pretty sick. I do like 2. I think 2 is the one that they went with. Although I do like the double wing as well. Honestly, they all look good. I think that this is maybe my least favorite. This one's sick though. I really like 4. Also 3 looks super cool too. So let's go back and save all of these. All right. So there we go. All right, and then we can just take a look at all of the characters and their different costumes that they had. Is this Yuffie? Oh my gosh, she looks very different from the one in the actual. All right, I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, that's coming from Sephiroth right there. All right, so let's go back and let's look at the next costume right here. Sorry about that. All right, so where was the first one? Let's look at the second one. Here's Tifa. All right, pretty dang cool, guys. All right, so I think the one we got for Tifa is this. But man, all of these look really cool. I like this one. I like this one. I mean, it's Tifa. I like all of them. They all look good. They all look really good. Let's be real. So yeah, this is actually pretty cool getting to see this stuff, guys. With 38, let's see. Do we have Aerith now? All right. Oh, wow. Aerith looks really dope in this first one right here. I think this is the one she got, B. I really like A, though. C also looks great. D looks amazing. I mean, these all look really freaking good. She looks really great, but I think D or A are definitely. I'm curious what you guys think. Give me you guys votes on which ones you guys think are the best so far. All right, and then last but not least, here we have Yuffie. All right, so let's take a look at Yuffie. Probably my least favorite one. I think that this one looks pretty cool though. I like A. I'm pretty sure they went with B. C would have been cool without the visor, and D just looks a bit odd. But the weapon looks super cool, guys. Does it show the weapon on all of them? Let's go back. Tifa's does not show the weapon, or I guess it would be on her hands. And Cloud's was, it is what it is. All right, so that being said, I think that's going to basically conclude this interview. Did it completely jump away? Here it is right here. So yeah, let's go down to the bottom. Let's show you guys the, last thing. All right, so they do talk a little bit about branding here. They talk a little bit about ultimate weapons. But possibility of a new numbered collaboration. First of all, I would like to say thank you to everyone who's played this game over the past year. The 1-year anniversary is about to begin, right? They are already preparing not just for the 1.5 and 2nd anniversary, but also the 3rd and 5th anniversaries, right? I said this a long time ago. You know, for people that ever have worried about an Ever Crisis EOS, I promise you that Square Enix is never going to let this game EOS while Final Fantasy VII Remake is in action. It's just terrible marketing to have this game go down while that game's up, even if they're losing money. So I guarantee you, and they're not losing money, but I guarantee you this game is going to go strong until at least the 3rd Final Fantasy VII Remake part comes out. And then I'm guessing if it's still doing well, probably, years after that. All right, so although we have just celebrated the 1st anniversary, the planning team has already started talking about the 2nd anniversary. We have considered various things, such as what the next motive would be. We hope you will enjoy the next anniversary, and by that time, more information about the final work of the Final Fantasy VII Part 3 may start to come out. All right. As Toriyama said, we recently discussed the 2nd anniversary. Talking about the 2nd anniversary means that, of course, preparations are underway for everything leading up to that point. The 1st anniversary will also be a major milestone, but we have already prepared a number of measures, so please look forward to them. All right, sounds good. Now, for all of you guys that were here for those free 30 Stamina Tonics, they are right here. Okay, just go to that link that is in our Discord. First anniversary COMGift right here. I will put it in the description of the video as well. That being said, that is going to conclude this video for the day. A lot of cool information there. Super excited to play Young Angel. I think that's basically a guaranteed that we have at least 3 more banners coming for this anniversary period, which is a lot. So, like I said, take your time. Don't have to make any choices for banners right now. As long as they're up for a certain period of time, you have that entire time to choose. So that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video today, if it was fun, please don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, I'm going to call it right there. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care, and peace.